my God. Thank you everybody for your patience. I have owed y'all this since last Wednesday, and I just kept pushing it off because of work obligations. It's been pretty hectic at my job. So I've haven't had the time to collect my thoughts and record. But thank you for watching my video, and if you like my reactions and my reviews and all the other content on my channel, please consider subscribing. Leave a like and a comment down below. I want to talk about this amazing show. This show is so good. It's so good. And I have not ever stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning refreshing a streaming app, waiting for the new episode. I've never done that. This is the only show that literally had me up last night wondering where's this episode and forgetting it's daylight savings. I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. Where's this episode? But my microwave time was wrong. So it was actually 2. So I made me some tea and just waited for the time to turn to 3 so I could watch the finale. But never, never. Oh my God, this show is so good. So I will be discussing episodes 5 and 6, and then I'm gonna do another video for episode 7, the finale. Wow, where do I start? I have notes like in front of me, so that because there's a lot that went on in both of these episodes, but there's key moments that just had me. Oh, the show is so good. So let's start. Little brief recap. So it literally takes place a couple of months after episode 4. So episode 4, we meet Claudia and everything, and then things start to develop and change for her. She realizes that she's not growing. She's stuck in a 14-year-old body. She's not doing well. Emotionally, psychologically, she's going through it. And, she killed Charlie. So she's going through a lot. And Lestat wasn't helping at all. So they think she's starving herself. Well, Louis thinks that she's starving herself because they haven't seen her walk around the house. They haven't seen her leave her coffin. Like, her coffin's just there. And Louis has been dropping her snacks, like pigeons. Like, her room is an utter mess. It's just bird droppings. It's yeah. First of all, I don't know how they didn't sense her, smell her, hear her heartbeat, hot breath, nothing. She was just Louis thought that she was just starving herself, that she was not, she has left her room. But Lestat thought otherwise. Lestat was like, nah, she is out. She's outside. She literally waits for you to go and get your rats, and for me to go on my killing, me to go on my hunt. And, that's when she is, outside doing her own thing. She literally just waits for us to not notice that she's gone. And then they start to have a tiny argument, and Lestat's but I know she is not in her room. She hasn't been in her room for months. So he rips over her casket. She's not there. And they find her diaries. Lestat reads a page, and it's apparently little Claudia has been on the killing spree. Okay, she's been out there just murking people, large parties, with no care. I think one was a parade crew, a whole family. She just been out there murking people with no remorse. Okay, just she hasn't brought any bodies to the furnace. they're wondering, where are these bodies? Like, you have listed all these people that you killed in your diary. Where are the bodies? Like, the furnace, as Lestat said, you know, the smoke would go to the moon with all these bodies we got to burn up. Where they at? So she said she buried them. And being Louisiana, they're underneath the sea line. So, like, this is why they don't bury their dead underground. They bury their dead on top because, you know, Louisiana is accustomed to floods, like hurricanes, you know. Just, if you bury something in Louisiana, it's going to surface because it's underneath the sea line and it's just going to flood. Everything floods in Louisiana. So a storm occurs and the bodies do surface. Like, there's a shit ton of body. And these bodies, there's a lot of them, okay? And Louis and Lestat, they go to the speakeasy because this is around the time where Prohibition is happening. So they go to the speakeasy and they're talking to, I forgot, it's Anderson. They're talking to Anderson, dude, because he wants to be, like, in the House of Representatives. He's doing politics now. And he is talking to them about, like, he called them the floaters. He's talking about the floaters. And Lestat's like, oh, you know, I heard there were 6 bodies. He's like, 6? No, it's 56. My jaw dropped. I was like, Claudia, 56? 56. 56? 56. That, if I was Lestat and Louis, I would panic because 56, that's a lot of bodies. And, like, she not only killed the body, she not only killed the people, but she took body parts. Like, she's like a whole serial killer. Okay, she got souvenirs. She took a boob. She took a toe. I think like, she took a finger. She's just taking body parts of all these people. And that's another red flag because they can say, like, you know, these are bodies from the hurricane that just washed up. But no, like, there are parts missing. So this is literally someone is doing this. And like, Lestat puts 2 to 2 together, I think, and tells Louis to, like, read the minds of the cops that are there in the speakeasy, because there are cops, like, in the speakeasy, chilling, you know, having beer and everything. So he goes and I am assuming he uses his telepathy to read their minds, and they figure out that the cops, because first they asked them, like, why are there more cops in the corridor? Like, there weren't that many. And Anderson says that it's because most of the victims came from your block. And I'm just like, Claudia, really? The neighbors? The neighbors. You killing neighbors? You couldn't kill people from, like, a town over. You killing neighbors? So they run home and the cops are already there and they're, like, ransacking everything. And of course, Claudia lets them in. I'm just like, girl, you got, there's something going on with you. So, like, she lets them in and she seems drunk. And, like, you know, she's in the body of a child. So the cops are like, you leaving these beer, or you're leaving the alcohol around your child. And, like, that's one strike. Then like, the cops are all over the place. So they're, like, upstairs. They notice that there's, like, one bedroom, one bed and one bedroom. That's, like, another flag they checked off. There's a furnace, so they're, like, going, and my heart was, like, pounding because there was, like, a bone there while they were, like, picking through the furnace. I was like, please don't see that bone, because listen, Lestat is ready to pounce. Like, Lestat is ready to pounce. Y'all don't even know, okay? Homeboy is ready. Please don't see that bone. So they don't see the bone. they kind of get distracted because the cop on the second floor is trying to get into Claudia's room, because Claudia was told by Louis to go upstairs. So she go upstairs, she's cleaning the body parts. Like, she's literally like, she had them all, she had a thumb in a jewelry box. And she had a whole body, and he was alive. The poor dude was alive. She had a whole human in her closet. And I'm just like, how do y'all not smell this? Louis, Lestat. How do vampires not have noses? Like, do y'all not smell? How do y'all not smell a whole dead corpse? Well, half dead person, because he was still breathing. Like, how did y'all not smell it? And she like does a like a ruse, and like, you know, says that she's going to bed, and the cop is like, oh my god. So they don't investigate further. So they go down and they talk to them, and they're saying like, yeah, you have alcohol you're not supposed to have, so, you know, we're gonna write you up on that. But and then like Louis is, you know, he's using his status, you know, he's rich and he has all this money and he knows people, he has connections. And the cop is like, no, but like, you could go to jail for 5 years because you only have one bed upstairs. We know what's going on with y'all. Like, we know what's up. I recommend y'all put a second bed up there, because 5 years in jail, because, you know, back in the day, you went to jail for being gay. So that was a threat, and they went silent. I would go silent too, because first of all, we're vampires and we can't be going to no jail for 5 years. We're going to be dead. And that's what they explain to Claudia when they're talking to her. And she's just like, she's going through the motions. Like, she's drunk. She, you know, talks to them about like, she's not going to ever grow up. She's stuck like this in a child's body, and she's lonely. And I hurt for her. She wants what Louis and Lestat have. Like, she wants to have someone for her. Like, she can't date normal humans because, you know, she killed Charlie. And even if she does, they're going to grow and she's not. So like this, it's just not going to work. So she begs Lestat to make her one, and he's like, no. And then she opens up and says that she's been killing not to just feed, but to make a companion for herself. Like, she literally been like killing boys and trying to make a vampire for herself. And this sets Lestat off, and he says some like hurtful things to her, and then she leaves. After she leaves, Lestat and Louis, like, their relationship just goes. I mean, it was holding on by a thread. Like, honestly, I'm surprised it lasted this long. And Louis goes into this depression, which ironically, they enter the Great Depression. So Louis is depressed and the whole world is depressed. I thought that was really ironic that like it's happening at the same time. So they spend 7 years together, locked up in their house, because of the incident, the killings and everything, you know, the suspicion that Claudia caused. They're you know, going incognito, and they're not having like people over. They're not interacting with society. They're kind of just staying in their house, being hermits and hoarders. The house looked like an episode of Hoarders. Like, it was just newspapers everywhere, books, just rats. There was a raccoon I saw. Louis is a mess. Like, he's not. It I don't know. Like, I hope they shower or take baths, but it looks like he hasn't. Like, he hasn't done his hair. Like, it's just, and he's ridiculing Lestat, saying like, you know, you're the reason why she left. And they do this for 7 years, and I give Lestat props for that. Like, he stayed by Louis through all of the depression for 7 years. And he just like at one point he couldn't take it anymore and he left and went back to Antoinette. Which again, I don't blame him. Like you at one point, like 7 years, bro. Like you 7 years, you're in this depressed state. And I know there isn't therapy back in those days. Like therapy wasn't a thing. If that happened in modern times, I would hope that, Louis would have gotten help and would have talked to someone to get through his issues. But back in those days, they didn't have such things. So all he really could do is just blame Lestat and just waste in his house. And that's what he did. So Lestat doesn't want to do that anymore. He goes off and, starts a relationship with Antoinette. And then we go to Claudia like experiences. So because again, we're still reading her diary. So we go to her experiences. She's trying to meet other vampires. She wants to know like who's out there. Like it can't just be us three. Like we're not the only three vampires. Like there has to be more vampires out there. But where are they? And this goes back to that question she asked in episode 4 when she was like, when she was a younger vampire and she was asking Lestat like where are all the vampires, and he didn't want to answer her. So she goes to her adventure. She basically goes to college, which I thought was cool that they did that. They did that twist. Like she's not going to college per se, but she's getting educated. So having the atmosphere and the foundation be schools was really good. Like that was a good play on the knowledge part, and I love that. And she runs into this dude who's just a complete jerk. And she like this guy is horrible. Like he calls her little. He says she stole from the library and all that stuff. And lo and behold, she meets a vampire. Like she just meets a vampire, and they end up eating the dude. But after talking to him, she starts to feel that this dude is a creep. Like he gives her this etiquette book and says that she's been sloppy, because she's been killing. She's been going to these colleges and killing people, which Louis is tracking through newspapers. So he's reading these newspapers and he's seeing like, mysterious deaths happen at this college, mysterious deaths happen at this college. People don't know what's going on in this college. Like, and he's like tracing her travels through the colleges, through her college tour. And so is this vampire. This vampire has been following her and finding information about her. Like he knows that there is someone named Louis who's been calling out to her, and he does it's implied that he sexually assaults her. And it's implied because she wrote about it in her journal, but she tore the pages out. And this is when we go back to modern day, like the interview, and Daniel is like, I want to read like what's going on. And he's like, I'm not going to exploit her. Like Louis is very protective of Claudia, doesn't want that information to go out, doesn't want her to be seen as some like murder monster. And Daniel is just like not listening, and he's being a complete jerk. And they have like a spat where like Louis is just done with, putting up with his attitude, and does, he telepathically forces his Parkinsons to overreact. Like his hand is shaking like crazy. And then Rashid comes and like calms him down, and he's like, Daniel, I give him props for that. Like he slapped the he slapped Louis like the and I was like, yo, you know this, you know this is a vampire, right? Like he could fillet you. But okay, I give like you're not gonna take no BS. I get it. Like props to you. Um then we go back and so does Claudia. Claudia comes home and she's like, I apologize. I'm sorry. Um but I want to travel and meet these other vampires. And Lestat, and I knew something was gonna go down because when Lestat said he was not gonna accept her apology and was like, vampires are evil, like you did all of this for what? Why do you even come back? Like, um, just being a whole drama queen. And rightfully so, I guess. Like, she put them in a bad spot, and then she just dipped. Like she literally, like their whole lives just stopped, and then she left. And then she left Louis in this devastated depression state, and Lestat had to basically pick up the pieces. So I get his anger there. I get why he's like, spatting at Claudia. I get it. But then she says she's taking Louis with her. And I was like, girl, like you could have just kept you could have just like told him that, and you know Lestat can't hear your thoughts, right? Like you could have said that to Louis, because this man is not gonna let you take Louis. Like like Lestat is nah. I was like, girl, why would you even say that? Like why would you even give your cards up like that? Like, so then Lestat is yelling. She's telling Louis, and she's talking to him in his mind, and he's like considering it. Like he's really considering, like, yo, I could just leave and just go with you, meet these vampires, have a different life. And then Lestat is like, yo, basically he's saying, I've been here for 7 years, by your side while you went through all of this that she caused. Like she literally left you in shambles, and I was there to help, and like I was there for you to talk to. Like I was there. I didn't leave. I literally was present. And then this part, I was screaming. I was like, oh my God. I was literally screaming. Okay. So Lestat like does the vampire glide thingy. Like he goes, runs fast over to Claudia and like chokes the shit out of her. Like he choked her up against that wall unit, and then Louis goes and like grabs him, and then they're just like fighting. And like, okay, they're vampires, so I get the destruction, but Lestat, that house, oh my God, they wreck the entire freaking house. Like the ceiling comes down, walls are coming down, stairs, like everything is just it's literally like a hurricane, and he is wailing on Louis, like literally not holding back, wailing on Louis, okay? Like beating the living crap out of him. And like Claudia can't do shit because she's a pint-sized, vampire. You got Lestat who's like 100 something, powerful. It's just like he had no marks on him, and he literally was like telling Louis, we don't need to fight. Can you stop? And he's saying, he's trying to restrain himself. And I'm like, this is you restraining yourself, sir. This is you restraining yourself. Like you say you holding back, bruh. Like he beats Louis into a bloody mess. Like his eye is closed. He's digging in his cuz like he's dragging him through the corridor and it's just a trail of blood. And he's like he has his hand like on his neck. It's just brutal. It is brutal, y'all. Like it's just it's so different than Lestat in the books. Like Lestat in the books was never violent to Louis. His abuse was more emotional and manipulative, but it was never physical. Like he never put his hands on Louis. But in the TV show, they twisted it. Like they literally was like, "Yo, I'ma tell y'all Lestat is abusive." Like he is manipulative. He is emotionally abusive. He is physically abusive. Like he is just a whole problem. And I'm not mad at it. Like I don't like a lot of the people. There's a lot of people in the fandom who are like upset that they did this twist, but I am conflicted because I knew something like this was going to happen because throughout the season he showed himself. Like he showed that he has anger issues. There's the diner, like the dinner table with Louis' family in the first freaking episode where he just like went off. There was the tender in the second episode where he went off. Like he has anger issues. So like it was bound to happen. I just wish we had like a blurb in the beginning of the episode, but I know why they didn't do it because it would have given it away. Cause like I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, this is like literally domestic violence. Like this is real life. Like this shit happens in real life. Like people go through this. Like there are people who are literally going through this where they are with an abusive person, they have a kid, the kid wants to leave, but the parent can't leave the other parent. And it's like it's heartbreaking. It's very triggering. Very, very triggering. Which reminds me, I'm gonna put a trigger warning on the title. This is very triggering. So after the knockdown, drag out fight, Lestat flies Louis up into the sky. So I knew he could float, right? And I know in the books, Lestat can fly because he can fly because he drank the blood of Akasha when he was with Marius. So that's how he got the cloud gift, is what it's called in the book. But I didn't think that they would do that now. I was like, oh, bruh is up there with the airplanes. Like, he had Louis up there with the stars, okay? And was like, I love you. You tell me you don't love me. Like, just let me know. And Louis doesn't tell him. Louis doesn't say, I don't love you. He just tells Lestat to let him go. And Lestat lets him go. Lestat drops him from the sky into the house. Like his aim was good. Like his aim was on point. He didn't miss the house. And just like Louis' body is just like, he's obviously alive because he's in the present. So he survived the attack, but like damn, like he was messed up. Like messed up. And that's where episode 5 ends. What a roller coaster. That was a roller coaster. And I love the ride. I love how they were able to put all of that into one episode. Like, there are shows out there that it takes them seasons to grasp what Interview with Vampire has been able to do in one episode. Like, they gave her so much information. And they did it not in it didn't feel rushed at all. Like, it was well paced. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Like, it got me out my seat. Like, I was watching it, I was like, oh my God. Like, good stuff. And the acting, like, the facial expressions, I keep saying this, the facial expressions of Sam Reid as Lestat, I was like, oh my God. Like, amazing. And then Claudia, literally, I was so done with her. So done. Because, like, she wasn't thinking. She was not thinking. And, hold on, I'm turning my page, my little notes. She was not thinking, and she literally put them in such an awkward situation. And I was just like, girl, like, why'd you have to do that? Why? Like, why? I wish she would have just spoke to them. I was hoping that she would have like some sort of like conversation. But nah, she just went rogue and just started killing people. So that's where that episode ends, with the fight and everything. And yo, I like how Jacob Anderson, who plays Louis, is able to, like, Louis in the past and Louis in the present are two different people. And what is so great about the show is that you start to understand why he's like that, like why he is so closed off and hardened in the present than he was in the past. Like, he went through so many stages as a person to get him to this place. And I just love his acting in that as well. Like, everyone's doing a great job in the show. Everyone just S tier acting. Okay, so episode 6 literally takes place right after the attack. And we find out that it's taken 5 weeks, a year or so, 3 years, to, like, he talks about like his injuries. Like, this took 5 weeks to heal, but overall it took like around 3 years to fully heal. And so, like, he literally had to learn how to walk and how to hunt all over again after the attack. And here is where the abuse continues. Claudia is helping Louis heal. Like, she is taking care of the house, like she's cleaning everything. She's basically cleaning the rubble, the destruction that Lestat left. She's cleaning it up. She's feeding Louis rats. She's like giving him his meals while he's recuperating, while he's healing, and helping him in his rehabilitation. And while they're going through this, living together and, spending very close time together while they go there, because they both need healing. Claudia is healing emotionally, and she's also traumatized from the assault from the other vampire, and also the attack on Lestat as well. Like to see all of that happen. She has healing for herself as well. So they're like helping each other through the process. And here goes Lestat love bombing. I'm like, bruh, work on yourself. Like, so Louis says he left. And just up and left, which I'm glad he did. I'm glad that he left. Like, you need to go. You do not live here no more. You need to leave. Bye. Leave. And he does. And he starts giving them, like, he starts calling them, and they're ignoring his phone calls. And then he starts, he actually dropped by the townhouse with a gift, like a special book that he bought, because, Louis likes books. For Louis. So he's love bombing. And this is what abusers do. They don't work on themselves. They don't see the problem is dumb. They try to weasel around it and, give a facade like that they've changed and you should take them back. So he starts love bombing Louis And the first one was a book, and then, which was so funny, when he dropped by and said that he has this book, he was like, I don't think my calls are going through the operator. And I'm just like, okay, you can say that. You can say that to make yourself feel better. You can say that it's not the operator, like it's the operator. It's not, Louis and Claudia ignoring you. You can say that. But Louis throws his casket out the window, and it just breaks like right behind him, and he like makes his face, and I was cracking up. I was like, just go, just leave, like. But the showrunners are slick when they did that. They were really slick when they got rid of Lestat's casket. They were slick, and I will explain later on when I yeah, I'll tell y'all why I think that. So basically 3 years has passed, and like apparently in between those like 3 years, 6 years, Lestat's been giving him gifts. He bought a Rolls Royce, which was like, it's an expensive car back in those days, and he tells them that he is back in town, and then like he's in Algiers, which another thing I've like put together, and I'll tell you that after I go through all this. So he continues to love bomb, and Louis just looks hurt, and he's just like he like he loves Lestat. He loves Lestat, and he is he just it's just sad. Cause he really really loves him, and he feels so hurt that Lestat did this to him. And like, they've been together for like 20 plus years. And it's just like he looks so broken. So hurt. And then Claudia is basically speaking for Louis, and she's like, we don't want any of your gifts. Like, she threw the keys, she scratched the car, she signals to Louis to leave, so they leave. And oh my God, like Lestat did a speech. Like, he literally was like, and the music in the background is okay. Like, the music in this show, oh my God. Okay, so they have this like this tune in the background, the music in the background, while Lestat is talking to them, and he's like, I'll obey you. Just tell me what you want me to do. Like, do you want me to leave you alone? Because I can do that. Just talk to me, because the silent treatment is driving me crazy. He says the silent treatment is cruel, and you were never cruel, Louis. And like the music in the background, like, oh my God. It was just so good. So they leave, Lestat to mope, and there was one gift that broke through, and it was a song, because Lestat is a musician. It was a song that he made. Apparently, the record he gave Louis was the only copy, and he burned the rest. And it's a song that he wrote himself, played himself, all the instruments he played, and yeah. But he puts little Antoinette. He was Miss. I said little, but he put Miss Antoinette's voice in it, so she's singing the song, and I'm just like, wow. And this causes Louis to just like okay, I want to know. I really want to know. Can someone tell me in the comments? Just tell me. Please tell me. what magic dust is on Lestat's dung? Like, what type of, because, okay, he has, oh my God, Louis swam the Mississippi for this man. Like, Louis swam with the record in his hand through the Mississippi River, to Miss Antoinette's house, where Lestat and Antoinette were just having sex. Like, they were just boinging, and he barges in soaking wet. And this is when Lestat knows he won. Like, you can see it in his face. Again, the facial expressions of these actors are just, ooh, what they bring to their characters. Like, you know, just by looking at him, that he knows that he won, that Louis is going to take him back. And they kick Antoinette out the bed. Like, I'm just like, girl, why are you with this man? Why are you with Lestat? Lestat don't care for you. He don't love you. He's using you. You got kicked out your own house, your own bed, and they're out there. They literally were like, it's a rough make-out screw session. Like, they literally, the roughest makeup sex you can have is what they had, while she outside smoking, crying. Girl, why are you with Lestat? Why are you with this man? What is it? I need to know. What is it? What type of magic he has on these people? Okay, because he has one lady outside crying while he's boinging. Yeah, I would say, are they're no longer exes? Are they broke up, but like, they're makeup sex. And Louis swam the Mississippi. I just need to know. Okay, so obviously he takes him back, and he did a number on Lestat. Like, when Lestat was, the incident in episode 5, Lestat had no marks on him. It looked like Louis just blew on him, like he had no marks at all. After the makeup fight sex situation that they had, in Antoinette's bedroom, he had like bruises, and like some of them looked like hickeys. I mean, he looked banged up. Okay, like, Louis did a number on him, and I was like, yes, Louis, beat his ass. Okay, yes, we want to see it. Okay, I wish they actually like showed us more, but yes, thank you, props. Yeah, good job, Louis. So they have a meeting, Louis, Claudia, and Lestat. It looks like a intervention, because they're sitting in front of him. He's sitting over there, and they're like, rule number 1 is this. Rule number 4 is this. And then this is where Lestat opens up, and because Claudia's like, who the hell made you? Like, who made you? She asked this question years ago. Like, she asked this question decades ago, and she resurfaces it, and we learn his story. If you're not a book reader, this is exactly how it is. Exactly. I read the books. I read the Vampire Lestat. I knew who made him. I knew how. It was so well, told. Like, it was so well. Just, oh my God, it was amazing. And we learned his maker's Magnus, and that, he kept Lestat in a tower with all these dead bodies that looked like him, which is traumatic. He fed on him for like weeks. And Lestat thought that he was going to end up like the corpses that looked like him. And he didn't. Magnus ended up turning him into who he is today. And then he just died. So like, Lestat had to learn everything on his own. He didn't have a teacher. His maker literally killed himself right after making him. Like, threw himself in fire and left Lestat with all this fortune. And, you know, Lestat had to adapt and learn what he is, what to do, what it means, everything about being a vampire. He had to learn his own. There was no Vampire 101. It was just, Lestat had to just learn. And you can see the hurt in him, like, again, facial expressions. Love it. But Claudia is not about it. Like, she's just like, okay, so whatever, kill Antoinette. Like, I'm sorry this hurt. I'm sorry you hurt, but kill Antoinette. So they go about their lives together, and Lestat's back in the house. They share a casket. So this is where I was saying, like, I knew what the writers were going with this, to getting rid of Lestat's casket. So they start to share a casket together, which is amazing. And it, things in the beginning seem to be working out. Like, you start to really believe that Lestat has changed. Like, you genuinely believe that he's a changed man. But no, he starts to go back to his old ways. Him and Claudia are bickering. They tell Louis that, we feel some type of way when you only eat animals. We feel that you're judging us. Like, you gotta start eating humans. So you can't just be out here eating animals. We all gotta, since it's this Lestat says new paradigm. Since this is the new paradigm, like, this is how things are gonna be. We all gotta be, in line. Okay, so when we hunt, we gotta hunt humans. You can't be eating the rats. So Louis is like, okay, cool, fine. I do it to keep the peace. And with all of that, he's talking to Claudia, and he's like, yo, like, Lestat's trying. You got to be nice to him. Like, he's trying. And Claudia's like, I don't got to be nice to this man. What has he done for me? I don't got to be nice to him. I'm enduring. Okay, I'm here. Right? I haven't left. I'm here. I'm enduring. I don't need to change my opinions about him. And rightfully so. So, they just look miserable. Like, it's a huge change from episode 4 when they were happy, giddy, just like living it up. Now they look so miserable. They look like they can't stand each other. Even Louis looks sad as shit. Like, he look like he can't. They just like, what are we doing? What are y'all doing? Okay. So he comes home, Lestat, and he delivers a finger to Claudia with a newspaper clipping that Antoinette is dead. And I was like, ain't no way. I called bluff as soon as I saw it. I was like, ain't no way. I was like, she ain't dead. Because ain't no way. Like, this is not how he would do it. Like, I feel like if Lestat really was going to kill Antoinette, he would have done it in front of Louis. He would have done it in front of both of them. He would have been like, yo, tonight is the night. We gonna kill Antoinette. Tonight is the night. Okay, be ready. But that's how I think he would have done it. Like, I don't think he would have just, like, gone by himself and did it. I think he would have just been like, grab your coats. It's going down. Like, no. So he delivers a finger. The newspaper clipping that she died in her sleep or whatever. And, Louis is all happy. Claudia's like, okay, cool, thank you. But even she's a bit suspicious too. She was thinking the way I was thinking, let's just say. And we find out that Antoinette ain't dead. She ain't dead. She is very much alive. And he really did take that finger. This is what I'm like, what is in? Like, what is it? Louis talking to Daniel and the president, talking about it's the vampire bond. I'm like, you could say it's the vampire bond, you really can, but like, it's something else. Like, it's something I can't say it on YouTube, but we all know it's something else that's the bond there. Okay, it's not the vampire bond, it's something else. And I just like, yo, he really did take her finger. I was like, girl, you gonna let this man take you? You gonna let this man like take your finger? You really gonna? It can't. Oh my god. Maybe I haven't experienced, but because I just don't get it. Like, I'm just like, how good is it? Like, how good is Lestat to literally have one person? First of all, she was crying outside her own house. She got kicked out her house, kicked out her own bed, crying outside, smoking a cigarette. He took her finger, faked her death. Like, she faked her death for this man and is missing a finger. Then you got Louis over here who's just looking like a sad puppy, a sad wet puppy, because he swam to Mississippi for his ass. I just don't get it. But I digress. Like, oh my God. So after they find out that Antoinette is still alive, Louis is like, what do you want me to do? Like, Claudia's like, you're not gonna say anything to him? He's like, what? Why? Louis is so broken. Like, he is just so broken. And it's just so sad because, again, he changed from being this, like he just was so much, like, he was strong. He was just like, he was a family man. He didn't take any bullshit. He was like, he was so different. And now he just looks broken. He has no family. Okay. And this is something I didn't say. Okay, it just come back to me. It's something I did not talk about in that happened in episode 5. So episode 5, his sister makes a grave for him. His sister makes a grave for Louis and literally was like, you're dead to me. And said that, this is how it's got to be. We can't see each other no more. You're dead. Here's your grave. Bye-bye. We're going to Boston. And, he's just, like, he lost so much. And I was thinking, like, all of those promises that Lestat told him, I was like, it sounded good. It really did sound good. Like, you could be authentically you. Like, you don't have to hide anymore when you're with me. I love you. You can be my companion forever. Like, just be unapologetically you. And looking, after all that happened, going back to where, we see Louis now, that was a lie. It was never that. Like, I feel like Lestat tricked Louis into bed with him. Because in the beginning, he was nice. He was understanding. He didn't, like, there was no sense of, like, oh, this dude is I'm gonna say abusive. Like, this dude is, like, he's a genuinely nice guy. To now where, like, he's manipulative, he's emotionally abusive, physically abusive. Like, he did all that. And he's a liar. Literally rule number 6 was no lies. Okay? If you can fly, tell us, mofo, that you can fly. Okay? No lies. No brushing the truth. No lie. And it's funny because, like, the person who literally is saying, like, okay, no lies, because he said that when they made Claudia in episode 4, he was like, okay, we're a family with no secrets. But the person with the most secrets is him. He has the most freaking secrets. The most. He has the most freaking lies. The person who literally was like, we can't lie, we can't have no secrets, we cannot lie to each other, is him. Like, he has the most. So it's just like, oh my God, Lestat. Oh, like, oh my God. So Louis broke in saying, he's not going to tell Lestat that he knows about Antoinette. He's kind of just going to be like, whatever. And then Claudia is like, we need to leave. Like, we need to leave this man. We can't be in here. We need to go and find other vampires. Like, I'm tired of this. And she, I wish she would have said this like in a different a different time. So Louis and Lestat are intimate, and Claudia is in Louis' head while they're getting it on, and I'm just like, yo, I would not want if I'm getting it on, I would not want she's not their child anymore. She's their sister. That was another rule. It's not Uncle Les or Daddy Lou anymore. You're Lou and you're Louie and you're Lestat, and we're brother and sisters. Either way, brother, sister, daughter, son, whatever. I wouldn't want them in my head while I'm doing it. And they're talking about going to all these places where they can possibly meet vampires. And then we go to them again, looking miserable, sitting at the park. They just look so sad. They're all enduring. They're just enduring each other. And it's just like, it's sad. So Lestat leaves, and Claudia says to Louis and the telepathically that he's going off to Antoinette. And he, goes off. And they have their moment together, Louis and Claudia. And she's like, yo, like, let's go now to like, we can go now. The train leaves in an hour. Let's be out. And again, like, this is where, like, Louis can tell Daniel in the present that he is not a victim, that he doesn't think he's abused. I'm like, you are in denial. Because he literally can't leave Lestat. Like, he can't do it. He can't do it. And Daniel even points it out. Daniel's like, yo, you took this man back? After all of this, you took him back? And you say you not abused? You say you're not a victim and you took him back? What? You lying to yourself. So Claudia goes off, and she makes it to the train, and Louis tells Daniel that she was off to her adventure, like she left. And then we go back to the present time, to the past, and we later find out that Lestat went to go get her. Lestat got her, and he killed everybody on the train. And I was like, yo, this goes back to where Louis was telling Claudia that his kills are extravagant. He extravagantly kills everybody on the train, comes in with the train conductor's head, skipping, imitating a Brooklyn accent, tickets please. Like, he's being a mockery of everything. And just smiling. Like, I'm like, Lestat, oh my God, like, you are a lot. Okay, you are doing a lot. And he talks to Claudia, and he's like, yo, you left without saying goodbye? Oh, you think you was leaving? No, sweetie, you're not leaving. You're gonna stay. Okay, like, you left before, and Louis was a mess, and I had to deal with that shit. I am not doing that again. You are coming back. And if you don't, I'm going to kill you. That's basically what he was. That's basically, to sum it up, that's how it went. He said things about Bruce, the dude that had attacked her, the other vampire that had attacked her. His name was Bruce. He made fun of the situation, was like, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to do something worse. I'm going to kill you. Like, I think he said that he's going to turn her bones into dust. And she's just a wreck. Like, she's just crying. And I'm just like, oh my God. My mind, I could not help her. Like, there was no scenario. There's no way out. Like, there's no way. Like, what are you going to do? This dude, Lestat, is all powerful. What are you going to do, Claudia? So she goes back and make nice. Chess. So in between scenes, Claudia and Lestat are playing chess. And the chess board, the game of chess, for those who play, it's all about finding out the person's next move. Is a game of the mind, really. And you have to, like, good chess players, because I used to play chess, and good chess players can predict the person's move. They understand their patterns, especially if you're playing with someone for, like, many times. Like, you know how the person moves. Like, that they choose the king first, and this is how they move their queen. Like, this is where they move the bishop. Like, you understand how the person operates the game. And again, the game was a centerpiece of how she was gonna learn Lestat. Like, she used the chess, and this is another thing that I give the writers all the props for. She literally used this game of chess to read Lestat, like, understand him as a person, how he thinks, how he, like, all of him. She broke it down into, like, molecules. Like, she just broke it down to, like, a singular cell. Like, this is what Lestat is. And she loses a couple of games with him because, Lestat is the best chess player. So Lestat bullies her, and he's like, oh, you keep losing to me. And again, like, she's not showing her cards. She was literally letting him win. She was learning his moves, learning how he operates, how he thinks. And then because for those who have seen the movie, for those who have read the books, that Claudia's the one who plots Lestat's death. She plots that during a chess game, she plots that she is going to kill Lestat. And she talks to Louis telepathically, and Louis is like, nah, like, don't do it. Like, this, that, like, Lestat ain't the one. Lestat is not the one. Don't do it. But she's like, nah, hear me out. We can kill him. I know you want to kill him as much as I want to kill him, but we got to do this together. And this is how. She was like, in order to beat Lestat, you have to think like him. You have to be Lestat. And she used the game of chess to do it. She bested him at his own freaking game. I was like, go, girl. Yes. Like, she bested him in his own game. She put him in a spot where he literally, like, he lost. Like, she put him in a spot where he was defeated. After all of these games of chess where he won, this was the game where she won. And not only did she win the game, she knows and understands how he thinks. And she didn't even, like, finish the game. Like, she knew she won it, but she didn't finish. She was like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to leave my pawn here, and I'm going to bed. Good night. And it literally, like, Lestat goes up in flames. Like, he's just heated and says a whole bunch of things in French. Like, he's just like anger. Just like a sore loser to, like, 10,000 max. And she just goes to bed. And I'm just like, yes, girl, yes, that's how you do it. So then we, that's how the the past ends. So like, going back into the present, Daniel is first he's getting treatment for his Parkinson's, and we meet this doctor whose name, for those who've read the books, his name came up and is Fahid Balani. I'm messing up the last name, but he is a major player in the last book that Anne Rice wrote. In the Chronicles, the Prince Lestat. He's a major player in that book, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what, but he's a major player in that book. So it's something that's relevant to the storyline. And I like that they're mixing these characters in there. Like they're not sticking to the pattern of the books. They're kind of just like doing their own thing, and I love it. So like he's here, and he's like, I'm not here, which was funny. And he's giving Daniel his medicine and everything, and while they're doing an interview, so the medicine causes Daniel to fall asleep, and we have an actual flashback. We have a flashback to when they met at Mary's in the 70s. We literally have a flashback. And the actor they chose to play young Daniel looks exactly like him. Like to the T. Like that is you. That is you, bruh. Like looks just like him. And I was like, yes. So then we have Louis. I would say a younger Louis, but he's a vampire, so we just have Louis. And we have a younger Daniel, and they're talking to each other. And he's like, "Yo, I want to interview you, but like, if anything goes down, I'm for it." So I'm like, "Daniel, what you saying?" So in the books, Daniel is bisexual in the books. So he has relationships with men and with women, but he, like, the way they changed this Daniel from the book. So like he has relations with the vampire Ahmad. He has relations with him, and like that was his boo. But they changed it a bit where like we were not introduced to Ahmad, but we know that he's bisexual. He's obviously into men because he's at a gay bar. And in the flashback, Rashid shows up. And we're like, what the fuck? I literally was like, why he here? Hold up. And like, so I'm involved in like the fandom. I go on Reddit. I'm on Twitter. Like I be reading, talking just with the fandom. And the theory is that, Rashid is either an immortal but not a vampire. Because again, the AMC has rights to all of the books, but they also have rights to the Mayfair Witches, which is another Anne Rice novel series. And people were like, okay, maybe he's from there, maybe to like merge the shows, kind of like Buffy and Angel type thing where like you have characters that cross over. But he shows up and we're just like, what? And then it just cuts to Daniel waking up and he's shocked. He's like, holy shit. What? And I was like, bruh, yes. But then it's like, was that a dream? Or was that, like, did that actually happen? Like, did he dream this? And you know how dreams could be interpreted differently. Like, you could have people pop in your dreams that you just saw, but they're not actually that person. You know what I mean? Like, your dreams can be interpretations of different things. Like, so that's where it leaves us. It leaves us on that cliffhanger. And then, the finale, which will be another video. I enjoyed both episodes 5 and 6. I enjoyed it. I've watched them many a times. They're just so good. Like, it's so this show is so good. Oh, after watching the finale, I gotta wait. Like, we have to wait another year. I can't. Oh, it's gonna be torture. It's gonna be so torture. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoy my reaction and my review. I hope this makes you want to watch it. I know I spoiled a lot, but you kind of have to see it for yourself. So I hope this encourage people to watch, because the show doesn't have that many ratings. Granted, most of the fandom, from what I can tell through Reddit and all the socials, is that we watch on the app. I watch on the app. I don't watch it on when it comes on TV. Um, I watch it on the app. I literally, like I said in the beginning of the video, I literally wait 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to watch it, and that's basically what people do. So the ratings don't look that great from a cable standpoint, but people are watching it. Like, people are like really into the show. I hope they get nominated for Emmys. I hope they get their Emmys. Like, if they're nominated, I will watch and cross my fingers that they get it, because man, if Sam Reid don't get an Emmy for Lestat, like, between him and Tom Cruise, I pick him. Like, Tom Cruise was okay. Like, Tom Cruise was a different Lestat, but like, he is literally the embodiment of Lestat, and he does it so well. And I just love watching him. Jacob Anderson as Louis, you feel for him as a character. Like, you feel for Louis. That's how, like, his face is. These actors can act. And then you have Claudia, who is just like, oh my gosh, she puts, like, between her and Kristen Dunst, I pick her. Like, Kristen was good as an 11-year-old. Claudia, she was good as an 11-year-old actor. That was great. Great portrayal of Claudia. But her, like, it's a different Claudia. You know, she's aged. She's 14 now instead of 11 in the movie, and she's different than in a book. 5 in the book, you know, Claudia was 5 in the book. Different. Her interpretation, her acting as Claudia, oh, amazing. She was definitely the MVP of episode 6. MVP. Yes, MVP all the way. I love this show so much, and it's gonna be torture to wait another year. It's just gonna be torture. But at least we have The Mayfair Witches coming out in January, so we can watch that. And I doubt, like, there might be. I'm hoping that there's like crossover. I hope we get to cross over a bit in the first season, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching again. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how much you're enjoying my reactions. If you have any suggestions of any shows for me to watch and react to, please also suggest those down below. My cat is doing something. I don't know if y'all can hear. I'm so sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Oh my god. Yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next live stream or the next reaction/review video. Yeah, thank you so much again. Also follow my socials. The link down below is my link tree. Follow my socials. I have a Discord if you want to join. I'm active on Twitter. I'm active on Reddit. Like, everything's there. Subscribe to my second YouTube channel, which is for my Twitch uploads. All of that is there. So definitely, I appreciate all the support, and I will see y'all in the next video, which will be episode 7, the finale. Oh, I gotta tell y'all, I cannot wait. I'm holding it in. I can't, because I already saw it. But I'm keeping these videos separate. All right.